Good evening. Good evening. Thank you again for joining me on this Wednesday night live webcast. And if you could click on the share button and share it with your friends so that they could be blessed by this. Hope everybody's having a good week. Hope that, I'm sorry.
Just keep talking.
Okay. Hope everybody's having a good week. It's hump day. I remember when I worked, couldn't wait for Wednesday because that was over the hump day. And that left us with only 2 more days. So I hope that those that are on, that you're having, again, a good week, that you're in health, and that let's see, how can I say this? That hopefully things are looking good for you, that the things that you're going after, the prayers, the things that you're inspiring for, that it's all coming together for you. I know myself, I'm in transition, and that is not an easy place to be, because you're leaving a place and you're headed towards another place. However, you have not reached your destination yet. So we have been feeling the kind of the pressure, if I can say it, because we're uprooting from Texas to California. So that's going to be somewhat of a long haul. And my husband has done awesome packing up our apartment, because he has way more stuff than I do. I am one that does not hold on to things. If I haven't used it in a month, it's gone. And so I think he hides some of his stuff so that I don't see it, or I won't question him. Anyway, transition is good, right? You know, when you think about it like that you're headed somewhere. There's nothing worse than just being in limbo. There's nothing worse than being in a place where nothing's growing, nothing's thriving, nothing's, you can't see any, I don't know if I should say any good thing, but you're not seeing results of your labor. Only God knows where you'll plant, and he only knows where that you will reap. And so I feel like my husband and I, we've been here since 2017, and we've done much plowing, and trying to find our place, trying to find a place where we can show our expression of who we are, what God's done for us, and so we can be a blessing to others that we get to be around. And I believe that we have done a very good job at doing that. We've started house fires, and if you don't know what that is, it's just a place where we go into people's homes, and it's not a church service. It's not designed like church. It's not set up by church. And the purpose is not church. The purpose is coming in with our gift and pouring into people, those that are there. The first time that we had a house fire, we went to a place in Houston, and the house was jam-packed with people. And that was rather shocking to my husband and I, because you never know what to expect. A lot of these people that we have done house fires for, we didn't know them. They just happened to be in our ministry, or seen us online and heard us. And when we talked about coming in and doing ministry in their homes or coffee shop, wherever, it worked for them, they immediately, some of them immediately got a hold of us and said, yes, I would like to have this done in my home. And I think what they were really seeking for is they were seeking the presence of God. And of course, if you don't know, my husband and I are very prophetic. And so that seems to be a great hunger in many people. Many people are hungering for the voice of God. Many people are hungering for direction and healing. And, there's some people just don't know exactly how to hear the voice of God. Prophetic people, it can come very easy. I always say you could put me in a room full of people and tell me to prophesy. As long as God was in it with me, I was fine doing that. Now, doing this, sitting here in front of a computer, talking to people, that has been a challenge for me because it's not something I'm used to. But going to churches and ministering, that has become easier for me. There's something about just seeing people in front of you and being able to minister to them at any given time. That is a great flow for me. But again, being in front of a computer is kind of challenging, but I love it. And I'm not intending on stopping or going away. In fact, I hope this increases. So I'd kind of like to talk a little bit about, being in the presence of God. I just was talking to my husband a little while ago, and I try to always keep my mind on God, because that's where I find the greatest peace and the greatest joy, because that is how you hear the voice of God. You have to get around who He is. You have to be in His presence. And you start that way. You can be by just loving on Him, just telling Him how much He means to you, and just pouring your love, lavishing your love on Him. Just letting Him know how much you need Him, what He means to you. And you'll find yourself getting in the presence of God. Or it can be through worship. I can sit in my chair and put on just instrumental worship music, which I love doing, and close my eyes and just thinking about God. And all of a sudden, you just start feeling His presence, just like I do now. When you talk about Him, He comes. And that's the beauty of God. Just start talking about Him. Just start remembering things about Him. Thinking about times past when you felt the presence of God. It's not a struggle to get in the presence of God. Like, a lot of people think that it would be hard or something that's got to become mystical for you to get in the presence of God. It's just entreating Him. It's just telling Him that I want to be in your presence. I want to feel your presence. I want to be a delight to you. I want my worship to be a sweet incense, something that all heaven would stop and listen and pay attention to me as His daughter, and listening to just listening to me loving on Him. I believe that that's how easy it is. I can be in my car and I could just be bebopping down the road, and all of a sudden I could try to race through a yellow light. And what happens when you go through a red light, possibly, that it changed from yellow to red, is maybe you're just in the presence of God and you're just loving on God. All of a sudden, boy, you can feel that thing lit. You can feel the presence of God lift. Why? Well, you just trespassed the law. You just tried to hurry through and could have caused an accident without paying attention, because you're so involved in the presence of God. However, God is a God of purpose. God has laws, and he doesn't want us to break those laws. And he does not want us to even break the laws of the land. That's what the purpose is there for, is for our protection. You know, there's not speed limits out there just as a guessing, just to throw people off and say, we just come up with this number. No, I believe that I will say this. When I lived in Missouri, I was in a place called MoDOT, and it's where they watch from these humongous screens. It's really an awesome place to get to go. And they're sitting there and they're watching traffic through the camcorders. They're watching everything going on. And I believe that they take all of that in consideration, the flow of people, how many people go up and down that highway, as to know what speed limit to place there. And so you have to pay attention. My husband and I have been in different parts of Texas traveling, and we can be going 55 and it go up to 75 and go right back down to 50. And if the other person is not paying attention, they're going to quickly look around and go, what's going on? And you have to explain, I could go fast, but then I got to stop and slow down because the speed limit keeps changing. Well, that's kind of how it is with God. Sometimes we get ahead of God because we feel that something is so right. Something is, how can I say, even getting in his presence. Let me back up again to being in the presence of God, loving on God, and you're just like full speed ahead. But, there's times when the caution light comes up where God is going, just hang on, I know you're in my presence and you're feeling me as you're talking to me about your day. You're talking to me about things that bother you. You're talking about events that are coming up. You're talking about things that necessarily you see are not good for either you or your family. And you can be in the flow of God and you can know maybe parts of answers to some of your questions, and then just like fly through life. When God's going, just settle down, slow down a minute here. Let me speak some more to you. Yes, I'm beginning to talk to you, and I'm beginning to reveal and to show you my hand, but that doesn't mean you just race ahead of me and just take it that this is the complete answer when I've got more to say. But right now may not be the time for the more. So you just kind of go at the pace of keeping up with God and not getting ahead. And you'll know that. You'll know when you get ahead of God, because you just start taking life in your own hands. You just start taking the situation in your own hands. And you may go, but God, I felt the go. I felt you said that this was your will and for me to proceed forward. However, God may be saying, but I didn't tell you, to go this fast. If you go this fast, you may crash and burn because you just went off and left me. No, there is a grace for your pace, meaning there is grace for the pace that you're in, but you don't want to get ahead of that. You don't want to get ahead of just knowing back roads. When I lived in Missouri, there's, it's a lot of hills and twists and turns. And, and so you can know that by heart, even you think with your eyes closed, but you never know when maybe that deer jumps out in front of you, or you never know when a car can just get cut right off in front of you without even a signal, and you didn't have that space between another car and almost hit the thing that comes in front of you. So that's kind of how it is with God. We have to just walk carefully with him. We want to walk at his pace, what he tells us to do. And if you don't do something that he told you to do, don't keep proceeding forward because something he spoke to you a year ago. He may have prompted you to take a right-hand turn and you didn't pay attention because you remember last year what it felt like when you were in his presence. And he said, yes, this is my will. Proceed on. But you didn't think that maybe there was a turn coming. You didn't think that there was another path that he wanted you to take. And because you missed your turn, you missed events that he wanted to take place for your life. Maybe to prove, that you're right and to bring others along, or to even be involved in other events that he may have wanted to show up and you to participate in and partake in. But, again, you just felt like you knew the wisdom of God because what was spoken last year. God can change at any time and does change. But if you're not in his presence daily, listening to him, God, I know you told me to do this, and I'm going to just today, because I'm not hearing any more from you, I'm just going to keep proceeding forward on this path. But at any given time, God, if you should tell me this path is not right, don't go down this path. I want you to stop and let me guide you further where I want to take you. You may find yourself in a whole different state, like us. We really didn't anticipate this a few months ago. We knew God was speaking to us. I had told my husband that I felt that there was a financial gift that we had received. And I said, you know what? I feel in my heart through prayer that this was going to position us for the spring. And so March 19th, we head out from Texas into California, into a place. Well, my first time that I came to California was probably a month ago. My first time ever being to California. So I cannot tell you now that I'm blindly going into California since I've already been once. However, the place that we're going, I've never been before. And so the fun part, just like being on vacation, the fun part is getting ready. The fun part is every time that my family would go on vacation, I would take my kids shopping, and we'd always get all new clothes and stuff for the trip. And that was always so fun. But then on the ride to the destination, that can get trying, how do I say it? Trying, because you got your kids whining in the background. Are we there yet? Are we almost there yet? I'm ready to get there. How much longer? Can we stop and get something to eat? Well, we just stopped 30 minutes ago. Why would we want to stop again? Because I'm tired. I don't want to stay in this car. And so that's how normally trips with young kids go. So our trip starts the 19th of March, and we really could use your prayers that God would just keep his hand upon us, and that the enemy, if he tries to throw something in the mix, that it's not going to happen. That's another reason we stay in the presence of God daily, because we are getting ready to make this long trip and picking up our whole life here and taking and moving thousands of miles away. And so we just always want to make sure, check and recheck that everything is right in its right place. Is there anything, God, that we need to do while we are headed in this direction? Because we don't want to miss you. We don't want to miss anything that you may need to prepare us for. But anyway, it's been an eventful, few months getting ready. My husband has just done so well. Again, I said this earlier, but I look around in my apartment, and he's got everything about packed up, even things that I still need. So I have to always say, I can't find my coat. Where's my coat? I know you probably packed it. And we're getting ready to go to Santa Fe, New Mexico. Now, I've never been there, and we're getting ready to do a marriage retreat. And the weather is going to be very cold. And so now I have to gather my winter stuff that have already been packed. So anyway, we got that all taken care of. And there again, see, a new journey, a new place to go, a new season. And I say new season because we're in Texas and we only have 2 seasons, warm and warmer. However, I will say in the winter there can be some cold spells, but for the most part it is warm. And I'm looking forward to this. We're doing a marriage retreat, and I've been looking up the state and seeing what's out there, what's available, some things that I may want to take in to see. And, I want to liken that again to your journey with God. Wherever God is taking you in this new season, you want to be prepared. You want to have your life in order for sure. Because my husband thought that we would be leaving for this trip to California in May or June. So he kind of set it up that way. However, God stepped in and told him, I never told you to put a timeline on this. Let me guide you. And unbeknown to us, now we're leaving a couple of months earlier, which is fine with us because we are ready to grow. We're ready for this new adventure. And so, this is just something that was on my heart that I just wanted to speak and to share with you my heart on going into new seasons, going new places with God. And I hope that, you take the limits off of God in your life, that you don't box him in and think because this is the way that you've always done life, that he cannot change that. Because again, change is good. You can get in a rut and quit growing because you just got so used to the way things are that we missed some great opportunities, some exciting times with God. I used to tell people sometimes God's like a jack in the box. Remember as a child when you had that toy and you would turn the crank and all of a sudden the jack would pop out. And still it scares you this day because you don't know unless you've maybe timed it. You don't know when that jack is going to come popping out of the box. Well, you never know in your season when God is going to pop up and he's going to change and reroute you, change the everything around you, change things in your life, change things in your family. So, if you don't give God, the chance to be able to do that, I just want to leave you with this, to embrace God, to let him be God, and to you just be who you are, which you don't have the power to change things. Only God does. And God knows when it may be time to start shifting. It may be time to start, thinking about going in a new direction, and you don't want to do it on your own. You want to allow God to guide and lead you into those times. But again, it only comes when you're in the presence of God and you take the limits off of God and yourself. So I hope that this helps somebody. And if this did, I certainly would love to hear from you if you are getting ready to go on a new journey. I'd like to, I've got friends. I've got a friend right now who's in nursing school, and she will periodically just send me a text and tell me what's going on. And she has asked me, many times to pray for her, and I do. And so she told me Monday the grades that she has gotten so far. And she said, thanks for going to school with me. And I thought that was kind of cute. And so anyway, if things are changing, if you could just put in the chat box something, we will get that through email. And anyway, I will close this, and I'm going to pray for those that may be on and those who may hear this later. Father, I just thank you for those that are hearing your voice, those who understand that it's in your presence, God. That's where everything comes together, is while we're in your presence. That's how we're transformed. That's how we're changed. It's also, God, how we hear your voice, is to just hang out with you. We want to just hang out with you daily, God, and to just feel your love, feel your joy, feel your peace. And so, God, those that are in transition like we are, I ask you, God, that you would keep your hand upon them, that, God, they don't miss you, that they don't get comfortable in their transition, in the timing. They think that they've got months ahead to prepare and to wait, where, God, you may speed things up. And so, God, I just ask that people, God, would not box you in, but that daily, God, they would spend time to hear your voice and to be led by the promptings, that they would be led, God, by your word. They would be led, God, by your voice. They would be led by those that they have confidence in, that know your voice, that you may send to them to speak something to them, to help prepare them, to help them get ready for what's to come. And so, Father, I just thank you. And we look forward, God. We look forward to our day, each and every day, because, God, living for you isn't a journey. It's an excitement. You just don't ever know what's getting ready to happen. So, God, we thank you and we praise you for this. In Jesus' name, amen.
So Justin's on, Washington's on.
Oh, see, I don't see anybody.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Danny Garza.
Who?
Danny Garza.
Okay.
Did you order?
Huh? I ended it. There's nobody at all listed here.
No, you're still on.
It says in broadcast.
Yeah. You have to click it.